Hello. Meet again with Iston OK here. In this video I have compiled the 15 best turn-based games for you to play in 2023. Let's start. Monster Train. Monster Train is a strategic roguelike deck-building game with a twist. Set on a train to hell, you'll use tactical decision-making to defend multiple vertical battlegrounds. With real-time competitive multiplayer and endless replayability, Monster Train is always on time. The game has a vertical field, a train with 4 floors, with a pyre on the top floor. The enemies will try to reach the pyre to destroy it, and the player must protect it to achieve victory. For this, the player will use several cards that can summon monsters or activate special effects to defeat the invaders, but the player can only summon their creatures in the train's first 3 floors. Age of Wonders Planetfall. The game featured 6 different factions at launch, with each having different units and gameplay. The player assumes control of a commander of one of the factions, a customizable leader figure that can explore the planet, engage in diplomacy, endorse covert operations and spying activities, and declare war. The game introduces the Doomsday tech, which is a skill tree that ultimately unlocks a weapon of mass destruction. The player can also build navy fleets and air force to further strengthen their faction's military power. Hard West 2. Hard West 2 is a tactical strategy game RPG set in a supernatural version of the Wild West. You will assemble a crew of interesting characters, each with a unique supernatural ability, and set on a hunt of the ghost train. The combat is very good. It's quite a bit different from XCOM and the like, but not in a bad way. There is no Overwatch here and you're often heavily outnumbered, so your best bet is to try to take out as many enemies as you can on your turn, before they get the chance to do damage to you. To help you with that, there's a bravado mechanic that restores all of the character's action points when they get a kill. You can also bounce the bullets off metal objects to hit targets behind cover. And when you miss or get hit, you get luck that you can spend to improve your chance to hit in the future. Some of the fights take place on and around a moving train, and I don't believe I've seen anything like it in other games of this genre. Looks very cool. Divinity Original Sin 2. Simply put, Divinity Original Sin 2 is an extensive RPG through and through, but it contains a combat system that allows for a vast amount of variance and replayability. Initially, you may only be considering how best to get your characters out of harm's way while simultaneously taking out your enemy. After a few scenarios, you'll notice that environmental effects and elemental combos can play a significant role in optimizing combat to your advantage. Original Sin 2 offers a wide variety of preset class builds. It has an otherwise open-ended class system that allows a high degree of flexibility. Players can play solo or with up to 3 companions in their party. Many situations in the game offer multiple solutions, which may result in consequences that affect the game world and progression. All NPCs can die, though killing certain individuals may render some quests incompletable or force the player to find other ways to proceed. Battle Brothers. The game consists of a strategic world map and a tactical combat layer. On the world map, you can freely travel in order to take contracts that earn you good coin, find places worth looting, enemies worth pursuing, or towns to resupply and hire men at. This is also where you manage, level up and equip your battle brothers. Once you engage a hostile party, the game will switch to a tactical map where the actual fighting takes place as detailed turn-based combat. Characters can become crippled during combat, both physically and emotionally. In the late game, additional challenges appear in the form of major crises. The game's difficulty, including the initial crisis, is configurable. The game features permadeath and can optionally prohibit save scumming. Banner Saga 3. Banner Saga 3 is the epic conclusion to a sweeping Viking saga 6 years in the making. The themes of the game are inspired by Viking culture. This strategic RPG, acclaimed for its strong story and compelling characters, has won over 20 awards and been nominated for 4 BAFTA awards. Continues to unfold unique story beats and introductions of characters new and old. It also succeeds as an RPG due to its clever combat design, risk versus reward mechanics, and ability to equip and promote heroes. Players are for managing a small caravan containing the vaulted Varl hero Ivar, duo mages Juno and Avend, and the Raven mercenaries. Meanwhile, they must also ensure Aberring, the last human city with the primary character Rook, or Alet, doesn't succumb to a siege. Path of the Midnight Sun. Not to be confused with a certain recent Marvel title, Path of the Midnight Sun is a JRPG visual novel boasting 30 hours of playtime. Blending the best of both genres, this indie title allows deep skill trees and character management alongside consequential choices and romance options. Path of the Midnight Sun has developed into a game of surprising complexity and depth that, in several respects, stands side by side with its FE storyline inspirations. I enjoyed my time with the game immensely during my playthrough.
By the way, I'm feeling stressed and powerless.
We Are The Caretakers. We Are The Caretakers is an exciting new type of strategy game, blending squad building, RTS with pause, narrative, and turn-based JRPG combat into one thrilling campaign. We Are The Caretakers gives players the responsibility of defending the planet and the animals that live on it as a secret organization. Players must balance reputation, funds, research, and fight in turn-based tactical combat using caretakers with various traits, skills, and abilities. XCOM 2. In XCOM 2, the player character is the commander of the XCOM military organization that is now reduced to a resistance force opposing the ongoing alien occupation of Earth. At the start of most missions, the player's squad is concealed and will not be detected by enemies unless they attack or move to a nearby position. This allows players to ambush enemies, which provides combat bonuses. XCOM 2 improved on its predecessor in almost every way, and proudly stand as one of the most deeply satisfying action strategy games currently available. The game provides meaningful choices throughout the game, so that you really don't know which way you want to go. With an unnerving sense of persistent tension and procedurally generated maps that extend the value of every map, XCOM 2 survives every expectation that it meets.
That is not good.
Wasteland 3. Following the critically acclaimed 2014 Game of the Year winner Wasteland 2, the RPG series that pioneered the post-apocalyptic genre in video games returns with Wasteland 3. Wasteland 3 is bigger and better than the previous game, although not without some technical wiggles that still need ironing out. Played from an isometric perspective, the game features synchronous and asynchronous multiplayer. In the game, players need to make various choices, which have different impacts on the game's world and the story. The game introduces a vehicle that the players can use to traverse the world and store supplies. The main campaign can be played cooperatively with another player.
Got it. November, you have targeting control. I'm going to do some hunting.
Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous is an isometric role-playing game developed by Cypriot Studio of Russian origin Owlcat Games and published by Meta Publishing, based on Paizo Publishing's Pathfinder franchise. The player controls a citizen of the city of Kenneburz, on Mendev's outskirts. After surviving a demonic invasion of the city, the player character discovers that they have strange magical, mythic powers, from an unknown source. After driving the demons out of Kenneburz, the player character is appointed commander of the Fifth Crusade by Queen Galfrey of Mendev. There is a secret ending that requires specific actions and research throughout the story.
It's all about the skills.
Phoenix Point, the acclaimed strategy game from the creator of XCOM. Fight tactical battles on procedural maps against a foe that adapts to your tactics. Phoenix Point is set in 2047 on an Earth in the midst of an alien invasion, with Lovecraftian horrors on the verge of wiping out humanity. Players start the game in command of a lone base, Phoenix Point, and face a mix of strategic and tactical challenges as they try to save themselves and the rest of humankind from annihilation by the alien threat. Between battles, the aliens adapt through accelerated, evolutionary mutations to the tactics and technology which players use against them. Meanwhile, multiple factions of humans will pursue their own objectives as they compete with players for limited resources in the apocalyptic world. How players resolve these challenges can result in different endings to the game. Into the Breach. Into the Breach is set in the far future where humanity fights against an army of giant monsters collectively called the Vek. In combat, the player controls 3 different mechs against the Vek, and will be given an objective for that map along with a fixed number of turns to complete that objective. The principal goal for any map is to protect civilian structures which support the power grid that supports the mechs, but additional objectives may be presented. Similar to FTL, the game is broken into a sequence of islands each with a number of scenarios, based on island sectors, to complete. While the islands remain the same each game, the scenarios themselves are generated procedurally in a roguelike manner. Wartales. Wartales is an open-world RPG in which you lead a group of mercenaries in their search for wealth across a massive medieval universe. This is an exciting, beautiful, with a well-conducted atmosphere. Explore the world, recruit companions, collect bounties and unravel the secrets of the tombs of the ancients. It's a turn-based RPG with a mix of RTS exploration. One of the selling points from Wartales is that the classes are pretty diverse, and you're not limited to using only one class. From swordsmen to broods, archers to rangers, you will never get bored of creating your perfect party for. Star Renegades. Star Renegades combines influences from tactical role-playing games, roguelike games, and JRPGs. Fighting against an evil, all-powerful, dimension-hopping empire might sound like a losing battle, but it's one you'll enjoy losing over and over again in this game mashup that sees you doing just that. Players control the defenders of one such solar system. If they fail to defeat the cyborg army, players must restart the campaign from the beginning in another dimension. However, players can buy unlockable rewards, allowing their next team to start with better characters and abilities. New abilities and characters can also become unlocked by encouraging romances between teammates. Star Renegades is the complete package. Very deep combat mechanics, a beautiful pixel art world and RPG elements, while sometimes cumbersome, serve to enrich the wider story. Alright, that was my 15 list of the best turn-based games. I hope it can really help you to find cool games that you can play. If you have some of the best lists of turn-based games, maybe you can share them in the comments below. Thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate your thumbs up here.